and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my top Trumps TBR for January, the first of the year, 2021. So my top Trumps TBR is the same every month. I have a deck of cards, I shuffle them, I pick from a whole bunch of categories, and then I read those books throughout the month. And then if I fail to read those books, then I end up having to do a punishment, which is why I already have a book on my TBR that I don't want there. So we'll do a quick shuffle and then we'll start. So the first category is year. I pick out 2 cards and I go with the book that has the most recent year on it, in the hopes that I will encourage myself to read more recent reads and not just fall back into the habit of reading books that came out in 2012. If you know, you know. So the first one is The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which came out in 2006, and the second is Slay, which came out last year. So first on my list is Slay. Slay was very kindly gifted to me by Carolyn. This is about a young girl who has created an alternate universe via virtual reality, and she kind of confronts some bullies and some people trying to destroy that. I think I heard someone say that it was based loosely on characters from Black Panther, or has Black Panther themes, so we shall see. But I'm intrigued by this one, and Carolyn, if you would like to buddy read with me, seeing as you bought it for me, let me know. The second draw will be for author, so it'll be an author that I have not read before. With this one I just keep going until it's an author I've never read before. The first one is The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab. Read her before, we'll try again. Josephine Angelini, we read her before, let's try again. Derek Jarman, Modern Nature. Now Modern Nature has actually been on a TBR before, so fingers crossed I actually get to it in January. That's the second one. Modern Nature is a memoir. Modern Nature is a memoir by the artist Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon, I can speak English. Modern Nature is the memoir of Derek Jarman, who was an artist in the 80s. He was also a homosexual man who got HIV, and this is all about him escaping to Dungeness. I'm really intrigued by this because I actually live quite close to Dungeness, so I'm intrigued to see if there are elements of my home in this, in a story that is completely unrelatable to me. I wasn't convinced I was going to enjoy it, but I read the first chapter to kind of decide if I was going to keep it or not, which is why the card is still in my TBR cards. Yeah. We shall see. It's not something I would usually pick for myself, but that's kind of the whole point of a Top Trumps TBR. So intrigued by that one. The third draw is for number of pages. I tend to go for the book with the highest number of pages, which is terrifying if you know that my goal for 2021 is to read 300 books. We need shorter reads, but I'm still going to pick the book with the highest number of pages. So the first one is Wise Children, which is 234. That would be a great pick, but I know it's not going to be that one. The second one is Not So Pure and Simple, which is 400 pages. We were so close. So Not So Pure and Simple is another contemporary. I think it's a contemporary romance, but I'm not entirely sure. But I know it looks at religious themes of purity and things like that. So again, kind of intrigued, but kind of nervous about this one. I don't know enough about it to feel like I can go at it with confidence, but I've heard really good things. So fingers crossed for me. The fourth one is GoodReads Rating. So again, pull 2 cards and go with the one with the highest GoodReads rating. The first one is Odd One Out, which has 3.73, and the second one is More Than Just a Pretty Face, which is 4.23, so it'll be More Than Just a Pretty Face this time. So More Than Just a Pretty Face is another author of colour YA romance. It has been compared to Jenny Han, which gives me hope, but it has also been compared to Becky Albertelli, which worries me. I don't know anything about the narrative outside of that, but I'm intrigued. And then the last one is Cover Art, which is just a completely subjective pick on, like, out of 10 on what I think the cover art is worth. First one is Such a Fun Age, which is 8.5. That is a high one to beat. And then the second one is Miracle Creek, which is 3.5. So Such a Fun Age will be my pick. So Such a Fun Age is a contemporary mystery by Kylie Reid. So it came out around this time last year. I've heard really good things. I know that it's a mystery around a kidnapping, but that's really all I know about it. But like I said, high hopes for this one. So out of those 5 picks, I only own 2 of those books, which means I then get to pick a bonus book, which is a book that I have, that I own, so that if I can't get hold of these books through either buying them or on the library, then I will be able to read a bonus book in a swap and not have to do a punishment in February. So we are just going to flick through until it's a book that I own. So I don't own that one, don't own that one, nope, nope, nope. Oh yes, there we go. So Pet is another book that will be on my TBR this month as a bonus book so that I can swap it out for any of the 3 that I don't currently own. Pet is, I think it's an urban fantasy, but I certainly know that it has fantasy elements in it. Pet is a young woman of colour who is sent in to kill monsters. I know that it's going to be a short read. I've heard really good things. This only came out this year, so I'm intrigued. This is one of the first books that I bought out of my book buying ban, so you can tell I'm going to be excited by this one. I don't know much about it, but when it has monsters on the back page, I'm there, you sold me. I'm also part of a Discord which chooses books, so we do a group pick and then we pick an extra book for everyone. So our group pick this month is going to be The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. This is about a society that have, rather than 4 seasons, they have 5, and it's about preparing for this 5th season and kind of sci-fi alternate world, which I'm intrigued by, and I've heard really good things about N.K. Jemisin. In 2020 people have just been screaming this name from sci-fi rooftops, so I'm intrigued. The pick for me, so Nick picked me Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which I know is a young LGBTQ romance. I don't know much more about it other than that I have a sneaky suspicion I'm going to cry. I tend to cry when it's young LGBTQ romances. Can't help it. We do our best, but I end up crying anyway. But I'm intrigued by this one. And I think this was gifted to me as well, actually. Yeah, this was also gifted to me from Carolyn, so thank you, Carolyn. You have sponsored the majority of this TBR. I also have some other books that need to go on my TBR. So Enchantment of Ravens will be going back onto my TBR. This was the wild card pick for December that I didn't quite get to, which if you've seen my wrap up you'll know all about. So that's going on there, unfortunately. I need to read 25 books a month to be on top. So this isn't the 25 books that I'm going to read. I'm hoping to read more, but these are the ones that I felt deserved honourable mentions because I'm going to actively try and read them. I'm also adding Take a Hint, Danny Brown, which is the second in the Brown Sisters trilogy. I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and thought it was absolutely fantastic, so I'm really excited for this. I like January and romances. They don't usually mix, but I'm here for it. I'm excited for this, and look how goddamn gorgeously yellow it is. So that is also going on the list. I've also added the How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories. I need to read this, and I needed some extra short reads. This is 80% illustrations, so I'm excited to add that to the pile. I'm also adding Pizza Girl, which is a short contemporary about a young girl who's found out she's pregnant, and she doesn't know how she feels about that, but she's also a pizza delivery girl. So she then comes in contact with a young woman who's essentially a single mum raising her 2 boys on pizza, and their lives become entangled, and I'm intrigued to see how that turns out. It sounds really interesting, and I've not heard anyone else talking about this, so this is like a little one for me that I'm quite intrigued by. Like I said, I'm also going to try and read 300 books in 2021. That will be completely impossible without stocking up on graphic novels. So the graphic novels that I want to tackle in January, because why not just give myself a head start, is the Star Wars Han Solo graphic novel, Monstrous Volume 1, which was given to me by Olivia, thank you very much Olivia, Fence Volume 1, which was given to me by Keris, thank you very much Keris. I have Buffy the Vampire Slayer Volume 1 and 2, which I'm really excited about. The artwork looks stunning, and I love some Buffy, so I needed some more Buffy in my life. Saga Volume 6, because I still have 6, 7 and 8, 6, 7, 8 and 9. I still have 6, 7, 8 and 9 to read, so managed to get hold of a copy of Volume 6, so I'm excited for that. And Misfit City Volume 2, which is the second in the series that I originally stole from Jelly Ray Reads TBR back in April of last year. We're finally getting to Volume 2. So I have all of those that I'll be adding to my TBR. I'm also adding a novel in verse. This is Blood Moon by Lucy Cthulhu. Lucy was actually one of my cohort from my master's degree. Obviously she's done much better than I have since. I'm really intrigued about this. I've heard really good things. She did the speech at our graduation ceremony and it blew me away. So if this is anything like that, we'll be fine. This is about a young girl kind of experiencing periods and kind of looking at periods in not just a scientific way, but a literary way as well. I'm intrigued by it because I don't think we talk about it enough, and yeah, it seems like a really important topic. I'm really intrigued. And then, because I thought I'd just put it on top for irony's sake, I want to read more books about business. So I'm adding the Burnout Survival Kit. This is a book on how to deal with burnout and how to kind of avoid it, I assume, and kind of just... 2021 is not going to be the year for burnout. It is going to be the year for productivity, but knowing my limits. And I want to read more business books to actually make me more productive, but aren't going to hinder me in the long run and make me feel like I need to be achieving a whole bunch of things that aren't actually realistic for me in my mental state as it is. And I'm hoping this will be a good start. So this is available through my bookshop if you're also intrigued. Link will be down below. And now we come to my first read of the year. There was no question. I was going to be reading this first. I have had it on my shelf for 3 weeks now, and it has been physically painful for me not to read it. I wanted it to be the first read because this year's first read was awful. It was so bad. So I wanted something beautiful and special. So my first read of the year is going to be Ruin Song. This is a sapphic, enemies to lovers fantasy. I'm so excited. The front cover is stunning. The premise seems really intriguing. It's about a girl who can basically sing people to death, I think. She basically uses her voice to torture people, which I can relate to. So I'm really intrigued by this one. It's a stunning book. I'm really excited. And quite frankly, now that I've mentioned it in recording, I can actually start it. That's how that works, right? So yeah, let me know what book you're most excited for your TBR. Let me know what book you know you're going to start with first, because you just can't wait any longer. And other than that, I hope you have a nice day and Happy New Year!